Every ounce of your being is made up of molecules of energy vibrating at different frequencies that determine your experience here on planet Earth.
This podcast's intention is to inspire you to elevate the vibration of your energy for yourself and for all of us. This is The Elevator.
Hop on in and ride into the ethers with Britt and Tara of Elevate the Globe. Welcome back to The Elevator, and we're so excited about today's episode, which is a duo.
It's a duo episode.
With yours truly,
Tara
and Britt.
In case you didn't know who we were.
So we are so excited to dive into everything Kundalini Yoga, really share our experience. And we get so many questions about our practice and this practice that has changed our life that we now teach to thousands of people. And so we're so excited to really dive into all of that today. But first, this episode, we are so excited to announce, is sponsored by our 528 Academy. So it's Elevate the Globe's membership community called 528 Academy. If you're not familiar, 528 is the frequency of
love.
Yes.
Yes. In the 528 Academy, we curate a monthly meditation. We curate a monthly challenge, a recipe, and a book. And we have a book club every month. And all of it is aligned with the astrology of that month. So we're all, as a collective group, really meditating and, vibrating on the same level and learning the same principles and kind of doing this work together. And it's a beautiful community that is elevating by the day.
Yes. And we're doing live Kundalini classes for the new moon or the full moon, depending on the month. And we are just so excited to really align more with the energy of the cosmos, because that's what Tara and I have done and what has helped us so much. And then we also align with the Ayurvedic seasons with our recipe and with herbs that we're using. So it is such a beautiful community. Yes. And we are so excited for more of you guys to join. So hop on in if you love Kundalini Yoga, spirituality, sustainability, wellness. If you want to be inspired on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly, and have support and guidance from Tara and I to really help you all keep up, because that's what you'll hear us talk about a lot today. It's all about keeping up.
Keep up.
All about the commitment and the consistency.
It is, yes.
And then really you can have anything and everything you want, and you can feel any way that you want.
Exactly. So you'll be able to actually choose your emotions. So, we do a lot of Kundalini in the 528 Academy. So, and they're all curated again. So it's really, really cool. And it's something we've always dreamed about making. So we're so excited that it's here, it's live, and it's available for the world to join in on.
And so many of you that are in already are experiencing massive transformation, having made incredible friendships, and the group energy is so powerful and it continues to elevate. So we want everyone and so many more of you to join us. And then if you're tuning in when this episode airs, we are actually starting today, March 19th, our free 5-day Raise Your Vibration Challenge. But if it's after March 19th, you can still get in and you'll be able to do it afterwards as well on your own. So just no matter where you're at in space and time, go to elevatetheglobe.com/Raise Your Vibration to get in the free challenge. And then to join our 528 Academy, go to elevatetheglobe.com/528 Academy. And we'll see you there. We love you guys.
Love you. So welcome to The Elevator's exclusive episode about Kundalini Yoga, our favorite topic.
Yes. So if you haven't heard of Kundalini before, some people are like, huh? Fettuccine Alfredo? Kundalini what? Kundalini? We've heard everything. And we felt the same when we first heard the name.
Yeah, it was an interesting little discovery when we both found Kundalini Yoga. I had found it through you, but I had never tried it. So I had no idea what I was getting in. I had no idea what I was in for. And it was fascinating.
Right? So,
yes.
It is a yoga that isn't as talked about.
No.
But it's one of the fastest growing yogas, and people are finding out more and more about it. And it's becoming a lot more mainstream.
It really is. There's a lot of people starting to hear about it and become more interested. And there's a lot of leaders that we all look up to, especially in the spiritual community. And, extend that outward to a lot of leaders who are very successful. You go and ask them, they will always pretty much be practicing something that has to do with Kundalini. They will be Kundalini yogis themselves, or they, will have practices that are based in Kundalini yoga. So it is one of those things that just isn't talked about.
Yeah,
but it's powerful.
It is, and some public figures don't necessarily say Kundalini yoga because there are a lot of religious ideas that are untrue about certain religions and certain yogas. So sometimes they just don't want to be a part of that conversation.
Oh, completely. So,
it's a lot of people practice it. And there's a lot of different things that are called different names, like Luke Story was talking about in that episode. And it's actually Kundalini yoga practices, but people just call it like breathwork class or other different things.
Yes. So, Kundalini is the mother of all yogas. So it has been around for thousands of years. And so it's kind of cool to kind of go back to these ancient practices that have been here and available to us, and really start to use them now in the Aquarian age, when the age of information, that's what the Aquarian age is. The age of information is here. And all of this is available because Kundalini yoga back in the day was only given to the royalty. And you only got one kriya or one meditation at a time. And it was really a special thing and a very privileged thing to have access to. So again, now in the Aquarian age, we have access to everything, and there's thousands of kriyas and thousands of meditations. But this was, it was reserved for the royalty.
Yeah,
because it was so powerful.
Because it was so powerful, and they didn't want, the normal folk.
The normal folk. Yeah. But seriously though.
To have the awareness, and they didn't want them to have the empowerment, because at the time, that's not how things were run. And they really wanted to suppress society, as, really we could say about the time now as well. But, back then it was much more prominent. So it was only passed down from guru to royalty, and it was very, very sacred. And these teachings were not shared in books. But, the thing that still stands today is Kundalini yoga is still passed down from teacher to student. Mm-hmm. So that is why, there's Kundalini teacher trainings that are like the biggest in the world. And so many people do Kundalini teacher trainings, because it really is still a form of yoga that is passed down from teacher to student.
Yes, it is. And it's an energetic transmission that way. So your consciousness is linked to the golden chain, is what they call Yogi Bhajan's specific lineage. So there's a lineage of the yoga and the consciousness, which is really cool.
Yes. So you basically tap into that golden chain, tap into the lineage of the teachers that came before you, the masters that came before you, the yoga gurus that came before us. And we're tapping into that energetic chain. When you practice this yoga, I literally just got the chills all over my body when I said that.
Right. And what happens is, like, you tap into the chain, and the teacher, then all of the energy from the chain comes through the teacher to the class. So it's an energetic transmission that happens. So this is a technology. This is energy. Okay. This is energy. There's technology. There's science behind it. It's not just something that's been made up. It's been here for thousands of years. It's ancient.
It is. And what we really like about it is it's really accessible, and it's accessible to the householder. So that's what Yogi Bhajan talked a lot about. Like, this is for the every man and every woman, for the housewife and the working wife and the man and the, transgender. It's really for everybody out there.
It's for your 90-year-old grandma.
90-year-old grandma can practice this.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a lot of yogas out there that we feel are not accessible, where it's like, $5,000 to get like one meditation and you have to do all this stuff. It's like, Kundalini yoga, you can learn one meditation or one kriya and you can practice it for 40 days.
And you can actually practice it for longer, your whole life. And just go really deep. Because the more that you go deep with one meditation, one kriya that you really love, the deeper your experiences will be here on the planet, because that's just how it works. You're tapping into the energy of you, of the consciousness.
And you can really experience the benefits right away. So if you start doing one meditation or one kriya, you will really start to notice massive changes very, very quickly. And that's the thing about Kundalini yoga is, this is not something that we're telling you. It's something that we've experienced and we share, and that we encourage everyone to experience and come up with their own conclusion. But the truth is that in the yogic scriptures, it says that Kundalini yoga works the fastest of any yoga, and it's the most potent of any yoga. So that's why we love it so much. One of the many reasons is because it is so effective and efficient. And, what Yogi Bhajan talked about and what the yogic scriptures talk about is, all yogas are so amazing. The difference is really the time that it takes. It's just the question of time. So you can go from New York to LA in an airplane or on a donkey or in a car. It's the same with yogas. So all yogas are absolutely incredible. We love and promote anybody. We want everybody to do any form of yoga that they feel called to practice. But the thing, if you feel called to practice Kundalini yoga, is it works very fast. So this is how it is in the scriptures.
The yogic scriptures.
The yogic scriptures, it explains 12 years of Hatha yoga, plus 6 years of Raja yoga, plus 3 years of mantra yoga, plus 1 year of Laya yoga is equal to the effect of just one complete year of Kundalini yoga. So Yogi Bhajan said, I have not written this, don't blame me. It's the yogic scriptures. It's a matter of choice. So that's the thing. So, if you find a Kundalini teacher like ourselves, or if you come into contact with a Kundalini teacher, it's really talked about that your soul was meant to come into contact with that teacher and those teachings. And then from there, it's just really your decision if you want to commit, and it's really the choice is yours. So in this incarnation, you'll always meet your teacher. So you can surrender your ego to the teacher, or you can run away from them. So basically the law is that you'll meet the opportunity, but not that you will recognize it or sustain a commitment to it. So that's the thing. It's all of our choice, if we come into contact with this yoga or other forms of spirituality, to choose to have the commitment to it or not.
Right. And this yoga, even from our experience, it accelerates your ability to connect with your higher self, with your inner self, so much faster than ever before. So it's like it's such a cool tool. It is the tool to really tap in and experience you.
Absolutely.
It's an experience of yourself, this kind of yoga. So, and that's what you'll find through it. And it looks, from the outside, we know that Kundalini can look a little funny because it's a little like you do weird movements, and there's like some, breathing with your tongue out like a lion, and doing weird, like frog squats and different things that are just kind of like a little wacky. But that's what we love about it personally, because what it's doing is it's really working on your subconscious. There's so many things it does. That's the thing. There's so many things it does.
It moves so much energy. It's such a science, and it works on all the 7 chakras, the arc line and the aura, which is the 8th chakra. And it really works on the total energy and the flow of your energy. So basically, the way that we describe it is you're either above the energy and you ride the energy and you're in the flow with the energy, or you go below the energy and it rides you. So that's really how it works. Like when you're working with Kundalini yoga and when you're doing this potent energy work, daily, then that is where you learn to ride your energy and you experience it. And that's when you attain a balance. And that's when you really are working with balancing your glandular system, your nervous system, your immune system, the totality of your brain. You're integrating everything and you become more aware, and then your creative potential and your truth and your purpose becomes available to you because you're the master of your life.
That was beautifully put. It becomes available to you because here's the thing about the Kundalini energy that lives within your body. It's already there. And all we're doing is clearing out the subconscious, clearing out our minds with all the garbage that we keep in there. We're removing energetic blockages from our body. We're really clearing out our auras with all the movement, with the mantra and the meditation. And really now we're allowing that Kundalini energy that lives at the bottom of your spine to really awaken, to fire up through all of your chakras and take your consciousness to higher levels. But you want to be clear and clean, like a clean vessel, so that when this, starts to awaken, that's already in you, this is already inside of you, when this starts to you become aware of it and you start to use this energy more, that, you're strong enough to handle, like your nervous system is strong enough to handle the energy that your body is already, really equipped to handle. So we just want to get rid of some of the stuff that we've, kept in our bodies and lugged around.
So that's why it's really important to practice with a teacher. And that's why we've created all of these communities and these courses so that you do have support. Mm-hmm. And so you do have the guidance and it is a transmission of energy. And that's why, it's so important to us, Tara and I, to be clear vessels. So that's, why we eat vegan and why we have such a clean diet. That's why we do all of this mindset work and self-love and care and everything that comprises our Elevate the Globe lifestyle, and why we practice Kundalini yoga and meditation. So we're so committed to it, and why we practice it every single day.
Because we want it to be a pure transmission. We want it to be a powerful transmission in order to have that power come through to really elevate the people that we're teaching. We definitely need to be very clean and clear and, not be carrying around a lot of stuff. So, it's a transmission. So, and a lot of people, I think, talk about how it can be a little scary, the Kundalini energy. But the thing about it is that it already lives within your body. Your body is already set up to run this current of energy. But we just kind of, with everything that we do in life, sometimes with the habits that we have, with the stories that we tell ourselves, with the eating that we have, the habits we have with the food, we really kind of bog ourselves down so that we can't be that bright, and the power that was within us already, just gets a little bit dim. So we're kind of this is the power within you. This is you awakening. It helps you to awaken and connect with, the truth of who you are.
Yeah, so we're going to be busting any Kundalini myths today on the podcast. We'll go through some common myths or misconceptions.
Yes.
And we'll go through a lot of questions that we get commonly asked. We're going to talk a little bit about, the sutras and Yogi Bhajan's teachings about happiness and how Kundalini works to bring us true unconditional happiness, a little more about the history and what to expect and really why it works. But first, we want to share a little bit about how two girls from Temecula, California, Tara and I started practicing Kundalini yoga and now teach it.
Right, because all of our families would have probably 10 years ago gone, huh? You too?
And I'm sure people who knew us from the past are like,
huh? What are you doing? And it's fine, whatever, right? So we found it and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But Britt actually found it first and then told me about it.
Yes. So like we said, we have these soul contracts as we come to the planet where you come into contact with teachers to receive this information. So if you're listening to this podcast, you pretty much have a soul contract to hear about it, at least.
Welcome.
It is not a cult. That is one of the weird misconceptions.
Well, and we'll go into that. I think we need to go into that.
But, it is like, if you are listening to this, you do have the opportunity. You did come into contact with us and with the practice. So it's your choice to pursue it or commit to it. And so that's really what happened to both of us and what happens to everybody. So what happens?
Oh, man.
It sounds like something happens to you, but it's really the biggest blessing.
No, it was the biggest
we've ever received.
Yeah, it changed my whole life.
So here's how it happened for me. I was in a difficult time in my life, one of the most difficult times in my life, when Justin, my now husband, and I broke up, and I was partying a lot. I was using, alcohol and drugs, and I've talked a lot about this before, but I was really just in the party Hollywood nightlife scene. And I was just kind of going down a spiral, and I was feeling a lot of the low vibration emotions like fear and jealousy and sadness and depression on and off. And although on the outside, my life looked really great. Like I had a great job. Everything seemed like it was going well for me. I was living in LA. I was having fun and going on all these trips and everything. But on the inside, I was really feeling terrible. And so this is what happens a lot. A lot of times as we've gotten into this community and met more and more people, we have found that people find Kundalini yoga through sometimes a breakup or something unfortunate in their lives. But it doesn't always have to be like that. And that's what Tara and I are really excited about. Like, we really want to make elevating the globe and this high vibrational lifestyle and Kundalini yoga and meditation really fun, so that it is presented to people without having to go through a tragedy, if possible.
Exactly.
But, if you are in a low point in your life, hearing this now or when you found it, it's completely normal. It happens a lot. And it's really a gift from the universe and really a blessing to help us to move out of that lower vibrational place. And it's really a tool. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Equinox, the gym in West Hollywood on Sunset, to
LA
to go to what I thought was a Vinyasa flow yoga class. And I was really just looking to work out. That was my only intention. Got to go to the gym, got to work out my physical body to look toned and to look good. And that was really where my mind was at the point in time. And it was not a Vinyasa yoga class. It was a Kundalini class with Colin Kim, my first teacher, and one of the most amazing teachers and most amazing humans I've ever met. And he allowed me to have an experience in that class, in that moment. I had a really emotional reaction. I started crying a lot in the class. I was really moved by the mantras and the high vibrational sound current that we're going to explain more about. And I was really attracted and moved emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally by the movement, by the meditation. My reaction was very strong. Like, it was a very strong, emotionally charged reaction to the practice. And so after that class, I really was hooked. And I almost, like, subconsciously, not very conscious at the time, I wasn't very conscious with anything I was doing at the time, kept going back to that class every single week. And the feeling that I felt, the first class would build and it would last into the week. I didn't just feel good right after the yoga class like I experienced with other forms of working out, but I felt different and better after and into the week. It kept lingering. I kept feeling better. I kept feeling different. And the more and more that I went, the better and the better that I felt, the more aware that I became. And it did happen really, really fast for me. And then I started learning more about it and researching it and playing the mantras at home and shazamming the songs and Googling more about Kundalini yoga and meeting people that were practicing and becoming friends with them and it really just...
It stemmed from an experience.
Yeah.
That's what it is though. You know, that's what this whole thing is about, as an experience. You know, we can talk about it all we want on the podcast, and we, you know, hope to really deliver some really good messages about it. But it's almost like if you feel interested in it and you feel like you want to try it, it's because your soul wants to have the experience, because it wants to experience itself. And this is a tool to give you to be able to do that very quickly.
Yes. So, you know, I think a lot of times like we absorb all of this information, especially a lot of us out there who are just like love, you know, learning, and it's so beautiful. But what we've found is a lot of times we can, you know, listen to all the podcasts in the world, read all the books, do all the workshops, all the courses. But if we're not experiencing something, if we're not moving energy within ourselves, if our soul is not having an experience, then it's hard to really apply this wisdom and this information. And for us, that's what Kundalini Yoga really does. It allows us to apply on an energetic level all of this beautiful wisdom.
Yeah. And all of the mantra and all of the sound and all of it is actually ingrained into the aura. And so it's really, really cool. You literally walk around with like sound currents in your aura, like projecting out, and your whole life changes, you know, and for me, it was very quickly too. It felt like just the things that I was really starting to attract were so much different. And like overnight it felt like, and it was a course of a couple months. And so Britt had really gone down this path, right? And so she had told, we were at your bachelorette party, I think.
Yes.
And you had told me about it before, but I remember you wanted to teach everyone a Kundalini class.
Yes, because at that time I had gone to Costa Rica, I had done a retreat, and I was in teacher training, which is a 9-month program.
Yes. So Britt wanted to teach a class, and I had to leave. So there was, I couldn't do it, but I made I was looking at Britt going, okay, if I knew she was partying a lot, and I'm like, she wasn't anymore because she was really moving into this world. And I'm going, if this girl, my best wild friend from growing up, if she is so into this and it's a little wacky, but she's into it and it's helping her life, like I'm kind of intrigued, and I need to find it in San Francisco because I was living in San Francisco at the time. So, it took me honestly a year to really like find a place, and because I was playing with the idea, because I knew I think deep down I knew it was going to change everything. And so it took me a year to find a place, and I finally did when I was really at a low place of, my best friend from college had moved away to New York, and I was going through like kind of a sad time where I was like not really sure if I wanted to be in San Francisco anymore. So I was searching, for things to kind of help me guide me to the next place. And I remembered Kundalini, and I actually remembered that there was a place in the Haight in San Francisco, and it was an ashram, and it was honestly like one of the only places in San Francisco at the time that you could practice. So I went down there and I Ubered down, and it was like, you didn't have a car. So it was like, oh no, it's too far. I'm not going to go do that. Literally like the story for like a year. It's too far. I'm not going to do it. And then I just got in the car and I went, and I don't even remember who my first teacher was, but I remember sitting down in literally like a, what I want to call it? It was there was a fireplace. It was like a living room of this like ashram. It was tiny, and they had mantras like the Adi mantra, the Om Namo Gurudev Namo, the mantra that you tune in with, and it was on like written out. And I was like, what is happening in this place? Like, ooh, we get to sing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. But all the people there were so interesting. So I sat down and did it. And I remember doing a spinal twist. So, you're twisting your spine back and forth, left, right, with your hands on your shoulders, and you really twisting fast. And I remember my body was buzzing from it. And I think we probably did it for about 3 minutes. And I was buzzing so high. And I was like, what was that? And the teacher was like, you were creating more energy. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm creating more energy? Like I can do that with my own body? And he's like, yeah, you're literally generating energy. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a generator.
Yeah.
I can generate more energy. And that like immediately hooked me because I felt blissed. I was blissful. I was going, this this I want to do all the time. What is this?
Feels
this
so
feels
good.
better than any drink I've ever had, any like relationship drama I've ever had. I'm like, this is like the bliss I'm searching for. Like it's an experience of myself in my own energy. And I just like Britt, just kind of didn't realize she was going back every week. Like I went back every Sunday and I started to do this routine where I'd go to Kundalini. And then I'd go like on Haight Street, hang out by myself and have like a coffee or a tea and go to the crystal store. And it'd be like my Sunday. And it changed everything. And it immediately, it wasn't immediate, but about 3 months later, I made the choice to move to LA. Something I had been struggling with for 3 years. So it just...
You had been talking about
I had been talking about it and I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the clarity. I didn't have the awareness of why I needed to go. And it just came to me. It came to me actually when Britt's mom passed away. And it was like I could actually hear the universe. I actually could hear Britt's mom telling me to go home, to be with Britt, and to be with my mom.
Because you had done the inner work and you had cleared out your subconscious and you had cleared out a lot of that garbage that was fogging your mind that
so foggy.
Caused you to not have the clarity prior. And now you had this clarity and you could hear the messages, you could receive them, and you had the energy to act on them and take that inspired action
and not be afraid of it. Because my body was like vibrating pretty low, and meaning it was so clogged with all of the junk that I've been carrying around. I didn't actually have room to really, run a high frequency through my body. Like think of like your nervous system as like a socket. Like when you plug in, a higher voltage, are you going to like short out because you just can't take it? Or are you going to be able to handle the energy? And I couldn't really handle too much until I started to clear out and really, be able to... It wasn't like the highest energy I'd ever experienced, but it was more than it was before. And I was able to run a higher current, which gave me more energy, like Britt said, to actually make decisions that I needed to make for my path. And honestly, I was talking to psychics because I was really, kind of studying with them at the same time, like trying to understand how they were seeing things because I was very interested in that. But I had been talking to them and they were like, you have to go to LA. You're going to miss what you're supposed to be doing down there. And it freaked me out. And I was like, well, okay. And then but it actually instilled more fear in me, honestly. So what I needed really was the Kundalini to help me raise the energy so that I wasn't afraid of it.
Yes.
And
that's the thing, which we always talk about. We teach so much about emotions and the frequency and the vibration of certain emotions and how the higher vibration emotions carry more energy and hertz. So to carry joy and happiness and freedom, you need a lot more energy in your body, in your aura, to feel and hold those emotions sustainably. It's much easier to carry and to sit in fear and guilt and shame because they have a much lower frequency vibration of energy. So that's what Kundalini yoga does. It raises the vibration of our energy, and it's really an accelerator. It accelerates our path. It accelerates our experience, our manifestations, our inspired actions. It accelerates all of it.
And honestly, guys, I would not be here with Britt, with Elevate the Globe. We would not have created this had we both not found Kundalini. It may have happened years down the line, but it was sort of like divine timing that we found it. We committed to it. We were interested in it and we were committing to it, and we got here together. And if I had chosen not to, and if Britt had chosen not to, I'm not sure this would exist.
It wouldn't.
So it surely wouldn't have with you and me.
No.
And so I'm forever grateful that this was the tool that was presented to me, and I took the universe up on it. Like, hey, I'm going to get buzzy all the time from this.
Right? And not only would we not have created Elevate the Globe, but honestly, I don't know where I would be in my life because I was really going down a pretty scary path. And I could have literally, gone deeper into the hole of addiction and depression and the relationships, the people that I were connecting with, the things I was connecting with, what I was doing was just a very low vibration experience in general. And so I, looking back, would be like really fearful and scared for my life, honestly, if I hadn't found this practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know where I would be either.
You know?
No, yeah.
And that sounds kind of extreme for those of you listening. And I'm sure most people listening, to us and to a wellness podcast, probably maybe might not be in the place that we were in. Maybe you are in a different form. Mm-hmm. But really, wherever you're at emotionally, wherever you're at in your life, if you're wanting or desiring something more, or if you're wanting or desiring to feel better, typically it's your soul calling you to create a change, to evolve, and to have a change in vibration and to really live in another higher vibration emotion. Mm-hmm. So, coming off of that, what we're all really looking for is happiness. Every single person, even if they're not conscious of it, yes, or they say that they don't want happiness, or they can't put into words that's what they want. Every single soul wants to be happy. Mm-hmm. That's what every other desire really boils down to.
Well, right. And we're born with that innate wanting to. And we were actually just born happy.
And Yogi Bhajan talks about how happiness is our birthright. And so many other spiritual teachers and sages and, beautiful people who have had so much wisdom and created so much change and contribution to the world all talk about this. Right. It's our birthright to be happy and to have happiness. Every single person.
Yes.
Every single person has the power to have happiness.
Yes.
And the right to have happiness.
They do. And just for everyone who may be wondering who Yogi Bhajan is,
yes,
he brought Kundalini Yoga to the West in 1969. And oh my God, I feel like Britt just looked over. We connect with him a lot. Let's just say that.
Yeah, there's some kind of energy or angel
there is
sitting right here in front of us.
I can see it too. There's a few actually. There's probably about 3 that just stepped in.
It's really strong right there for me.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's making my heart palpitate a bit. Anyway, so Yogi B, we love him. Britt and I actually have been told that we were his daughters in one life, and I've had a vision of it, and
I've felt that too.
And it's such a gift, So we connect with him a lot, and he, tells me to wake up when I need to go to sadhana, and literally, it's get out of bed now. So but he
delivers both of us many different messages.
Yes, and so he is part of the golden chain, and he's a master of Kundalini. So he passed away in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
yeah. And he, from a young child in India, he was really being groomed to be a master. And he was known at a very young age. I forget the actual age, but it was really young.
Yeah.
And he was, just one of those young, prodigy type kids that, everyone would go to be healed. And he was really training with gurus and masters, physical and non-physical. And he was learning Kundalini Yoga, which was really big in India. And it's really big in the Sikh religion. So here we'll address a misconception. A lot of people think that if you practice Kundalini Yoga, then you're in the Sikh religion. But that is not true. But what is true is most people who are Sikh and in the Sikh religion, not all of them, but most of them practice Kundalini Yoga. But there are thousands, if not millions, of people who practice Kundalini who are not Sikhs.
Exactly. So it's not a religion.
It's not a religion.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
But in India, a lot of people are Sikhs, and a lot of them practice Kundalini,
which is cool.
It's amazing.
Hey, what else?
A religion that has a tool and to move energy. It's amazing. So he was learning and teaching, and he was this healer, really, that thousands of people would come and learn from, and he was really, in high demand in India. But he knew, and he received the messages that he had to bring this technology to the West because that is where in the world needed it most. Mm-hmm. People in India, they have spirituality and practices, and
they're good.
They're good. But out in LA and in California and in the US, there was not very many tools that were really helping people at the time. So he brought it in 1969, and it was all the hippies, and he was in Los Angeles mostly, and he was really helping so many people to use this technology. And he would speak at all these colleges. He literally came here with $30 in his pocket, and he started like drawing massive crowds of people, like by the hundreds and then by the thousands, to come take his classes, to hear his lectures. And, he just created this huge, massive movement really quickly. And then, from there, he started all of these companies. 3, at least of our knowledge, are still in existence, multi-million-dollar companies. So really his life was a reflection and an example of what Kundalini Yoga really does for you. He was very happy, very healthy, very prosperous.
Yes. So, I think we can address another misconception here too about Kundalini being a cult.
Yes.
Because we hear this a lot, and we understand that there's always going to be some people who take things and kind of use them
negatively, or just come up with...
people take stuff and they do weird stuff with it sometimes, and a lot of attention gets grabbed onto that and not what's happening elsewhere, and like what, the good work that people are doing. So this is an energetic experience, and people are going to come from all over to want to experience it. So it does feel like there's, it happens really quick, and there's a lot of people, and there's a reason people wear white. I
think that's why a lot of people think it's a cult, because
everyone
people
wears
wear
white. Yeah. So people always ask me that, why do you wear white? And it's, white is a reflector, right? So white reflects all, especially as a teacher, it reflects all of the stuff that is being released out of the, everyone that you're teaching. It's being, reflecting all of their subconscious stuff that's being released into the room. And it's a reflector and it's a projector, right? So it reflects anything that is yucky and you don't want on you. It's like, throw that out to the ether, but it also projects what you want to project into the world. So
yeah, so it's really just the reason why a lot of Kundalini...
It's like a color science.
Yeah, where white is, just because it really helps and it protects and it really amplifies the practice. But no other reason than that. I mean, some people wear it to, just like how nurses wear it, because, to other people, it really sends a signal to their brain that this is a person of like an angelic force, or somebody
that's going to help me,
somebody that's going to help.
Yeah. Or like it's pure. But yeah, it's actually scientific that like it reflects and it projects and it protects.
Yes. But it is not a cult whatsoever. Like, no, we've been in this community, me for like 9 years almost now. And, we're just so ingrained in the Kundalini community, especially in LA. Mm-hmm. Never once has anybody like asked us to do something. Never once will anybody ever say like come to Kundalini, or like come back again, or anything like evangelical or anything like that ever. Like, it's very much like a personal practice. It's like, you show up. If you want to say hi to someone, you say hi. If you don't, you don't. Like,
so you show up if you want to do it a year later or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like any yoga class that you would go to.
It's a yoga class. It's just a little bit more like, there's more science behind it. So it's just different, guys. It's just different.
And to just talk a little bit more about that misconception about it being a cult, a lot of people have heard of Father Yod. And Father Yod was the owner of the first health food restaurant on the Sunset Strip. And he is known as like the Source family. And there's a documentary, I think it's called The Source. I've watched the whole thing. And he was heavily influenced by the teachings of Yogi Bhajan. And he learned Kundalini Yoga before he started the Source Cafe, before he started like the Source family or whatever his cult was called. And he did have a cult. Mm-hmm. And he taught Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. He learned it from Yogi Bhajan and taught it, but he took it into this cult. And because it was Kundalini Yoga, people thought that Kundalini was a cult, but Yogi Bhajan was not affiliated with it at all. And right when Father Yod, started practicing it in this way, Yogi Bhajan, was not connected to him at all. And Father Yod died in Hawaii. And it's this crazy story of him. And his lineage or his teachings did not continue on. Kundalini yoga and meditation is practiced in every single country, and it has been going on for so long, and it is growing, and there's more and more teachers every year. And it's just this really pure, beautiful technology and yoga and community. And so, but I know a lot of people get confused about that Father Yod guy, and they're like, Yogi Bhajan was a womanizer and had all these wives. It's no, that was that guy, Father Yod. And Yogi Bhajan
wasn't an arranged marriage.
Yes. And Yogi Bhajan has nothing ever that has been said about him like that at all.
I love him so much. I feel like such a father figure from him.
Right? So it's, it's really important for us to share the truth because, we care so much about this practice because we love it so much. It's helped us so much. So, it's cool to debunk the misconceptions and to really share it in this way with you guys listening to this podcast.
Yeah. And it's your choice how far into the practice you want to go.
Yes.
It's if you want to wear all black and go, whatever.
You totally can.
You know what I mean?
There's plenty of people who do. You can wear whatever color you want.
It's more just people wear white and cover their heads to really amplify their experience and just be protected because they might be really open in their aura. So they want to, protect and also reflect and project. I'm going to say that all the time now.
So should we talk about
we should go back to happiness because we kind of went off a tangent with Yogi Bhajan. Sorry, I took us there, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew who Yogi Bhajan was.
Yogi B. Our boy.
Yeah, I feel like he is here right now.
You do? Yeah. I think so too. I really feel that it's a big part of our purpose to really share these teachings and to, release any fears that anybody might have that's holding them back from having this experience with their soul.
It's kind of let's not play into the fear consciousness with anything we're interested in.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even have to be Kundalini. It can be anything that you're interested in, just explore it because, if you don't, you're kind of just doing yourself a disservice and really coming from a place of scarcity or fear. And, let's not put any more of that on the planet. And you want to go fast, you want to move forward, and you really want to manifest everything you want. So, just follow the steps.
Yeah, because you can Google anything or listen to anything on the news, and there's always, a negative
it's
side
always,
of things.
And there's always, it's always somebody else's perception.
But we've never experienced anything negative from Kundalini. We've never experienced or heard about or seen firsthand anything about the dangerous things that people talk about with your Kundalini energy. So,
No, I've only had blissful experiences. I actually did have one where it was a little bit wild for a minute, but I appreciated it more than anything because I was whoa, I've got some power.
And it can be a little intense at first. So sometimes, you might need to take a step back, or sometimes, some people might not be ready to have that energy.
Right.
But all you have to do is take it slow and really trust the person that's teaching you, and you'll be good. You'll start to feel, really beautiful changes.
Okay.
So Yogi Bhajan really talked about the 7 steps to happiness. And this can be applied to our lives in many different forms. But really, Kundalini yoga can help us use these 7 steps to happiness. And it really applies to a Kundalini practice as it does to life. So the first step is commitment.
We've been hearing this so much recently in our own meditations and in different ways. But yes, commitment is the very, very first step because when you actually commit to something, you're creating trust. Right? You're creating trust in yourself that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And you're committing to the technology running through you and working through you. So, and Yogi Bhajan said, in every life you are meant to commit. That's why the word is commitment. So you're meant to commit. So commitment will give you character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you commit to anything positive, you will notice changes.
Yes.
And that's the thing is that commitment can be hard.
Yes.
So if you're looking for results in your life and you're not seeing them, look at where you can commit deeper. And, sometimes maybe you have too many commitments. Maybe you need to pare it down and just commit to one thing. But if you really want to see results, commit. The first step is commitment.
Yes.
So after you commit, whatever it is that you're committing to, maybe it's to open up your eyes when you wake up every morning and just breathe deeply for 1 minute. Set your timer on your phone. Maybe say a little gratitude to the universe. Maybe that's your first step. And maybe you can commit to that to 7 days or 40 days or whatever it is. This is why we do our 5-day challenges and our Rise Up course, which is an 8-week course that's all about commitment, and why we do these things, these 528 Academy. Everything we do really is to help inspire and help people to commit.
Right. And it's really, Yogi Bhajan also said, when the time is on, you start and the pressure will be off. That is one of the 5 sutras of the Aquarian age, which we'll go through. But, that is that's what it is.
Yeah.
You start somewhere. Start where you can.
Yes. And commit to something, even if it's a really small commitment. And then you can build on that commitment. So the second step is character. So commitment gives you character. And then character is when all your characteristics, all facets, flaws, and facts are under your control. So that's where the yin and the yang meet. That's where you find the balance, okay? That's where you start to really have character and find your truth. And then character gives you dignity, which is the third step.
Yeah. So when you have dignity, people start trusting you again, because now you're trusting yourself. So you have dignity. People start trusting you. They start liking you. They start respecting you. So, dignity will really give you divinity.
And divinity is the fourth step.
Right. We go here. It's pretty it's building on each other.
This down, guys. Yeah. Because this is huge.
Yeah.
So the fourth step is divinity. And divinity is when people have no duality. So about you. So duality is, that everything on this planet, we live on a polarity planet, has a positive and a negative. So if people have duality about you, they're not really sure about you. But when you have divinity, people do not have duality about you. They trust you right away. They're not basically like questioning you or your character or who you are. They have no fear about you. So that's huge.
It's huge because they know that they can trust that you're going to be what you present yourself as. You're not going to swing back and forth between the positive and the negative. They know when they get you, they know what they're going to get.
And of course, if you have commitment, character, and dignity, you have divinity.
Yes, and divinity gives you grace. So grace is the 5th step to happiness. So when there is grace, there is no interference. So there's no gap between two people, no hidden agenda. Again, it's like people trust what they see is what they get, right? And you are not separate from them. Right? You are equal no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter, who you are, what you've been through. If you're a man or a woman, or an old person or a baby, you're all the same.
Yeah. And grace is what gives us the balance to really get through all the ups and downs of life, and not really fluctuate so much. So it really gives us grace to have balance, to ride those waves of life and to really command the energy and not be below the energy, but to ride the energy with grace. So if something happens to you, you'll handle it with more grace. You'll realize that everything is happening for you, and you'll trust that all the lessons are for your growth. And then, the grace gives you the power to sacrifice. And that's the 6th step, the power to sacrifice. You can stand any pain. And it really is just what we were talking about. It allows you to sacrifice for yourself, for another person. You can withstand any pain. And, I truly feel like that now. I feel like nothing can really hurt me. I feel like anything that comes at me, I can overcome. I can get through with grace, and I can learn from it and grow from it and become stronger. Literally anything. And so that's really what all of these things give you. And then sacrifice gives you happiness.
Yep.
And happiness is an unconditional happiness. It's not conditioned on your job or your partner or the amount of money in your bank account or where you live. No, this is the frequency of happiness.
Right. And that cannot be taken away from you.
Never.
Right. So if it's conditional, it can be taken away from you. If it's unconditional and you've developed it within yourself, because now your body actually is holding the happiness frequency, nothing can take it away from you other than you and your own mind taking it away from you and taking you down into the dumps because you did it to yourself. Nobody else can do it to you.
And how liberating is that?
It's like, so cool.
You know, and that's the other thing with Kundalini is like wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, like if we were in like a jail or if we were like, I don't know, captive in the Amazon or whatever it was. I don't want to manifest anything.
Yeah, I was like, don't manifest that. Jeez.
But I'm just trying to think of a difficult situation. It's like, we could honestly meditate and do our breath work and probably, like, I feel pretty confident that I could find happiness wherever I was in the world. Like, you know, you have these tools with you for life and you can access them. And once you like go down these steps and you have this frequency, it's available to you no matter what.
So let's quickly go over the 5 sutras of the Aquarian age taught by Yogi Bhajan. So the first is recognizing that the other person in front of you is also you, that you guys are equal. We talked about that with the grace, you know, that you guys are very equal and everyone's equal on the planet. Nobody is better than the other. Second, there is a way through every block. There is always a way. We're never stuck.
Anything that comes at you, we can always move through it.
Exactly. Third, when the time is on you, start and the pressure will be off. We've already talked about this. This is very important. We love this one so much. Number 4, understand through compassion or you will misunderstand the times, because the Aquarian age is a very heart-centered age. We are really developing the compassion for other people. Like the first sutra says, recognize that the other person is you, that you are not different, you are not separate. We all have compassion for each other. And we can feel this happening on the planet. The compassion energy is really rising, especially with just all of the movements, the vegan movements, and just everyone feeling more love than kind of ever before. And the 5th is vibrate the cosmos shall clear the path. Okay.
Yes.
So raise your vibration to the higher frequencies that the cosmos vibrate at, and the cosmos will clear the pathway forward for you to move forward. So we love the sutras for the Aquarian age and we definitely live by these.
Yes, definitely. So, you know, that's what we're always working to do. We're always working with vibrating with the cosmos. That's why we align with the astrology, the energy of the planet through our yoga practice, through our 528 Academy, and the cosmos shall clear the path. So when you vibrate in the frequency with this happiness and joy and freedom with the cosmos, becoming one with other people, having that compassionate energy, becoming one with nature and the globe, you know, that's when you vibrate with the cosmos. And that's when you're really guided and supported with everything you do. And you really start to trust that everything that comes into your path is for your growth. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to live. You just start to really attract exactly what you need.
Yes.
So we could really talk about this for so long, but before we end this podcast, we really want to share what to expect and what's involved in a Kundalini class and what's comprised with the full Kundalini yoga practice. So we always start off by tuning in with the audio mantra, which is Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. And it just means I bow to the divine wisdom within, and it really connects us to ourselves and the lineage of teachers that we talked about that have come before us. So we tune in, and that's what we always do before any Kundalini practice. And then in a full-length Kundalini class, we would, after that, go into warm-ups, which are just movement and breath work. And there's so many different warm-ups. So there's always different warm-ups every time. Then you typically go into a Kriya. And a Kriya is just a set of exercises which is comprised of movements and poses that are held or done for typically longer than are experienced in other yogas. So you might be like moving your hands in a certain way for like 3 minutes or 1 minute or even longer, 11 minutes, or you might be doing a certain breath work for a certain amount of time. But the amount of time that we do things is very scientific. Everything is scientific in the Kriyas. So within the Kriyas, there is angles of your hands and of the movement, and there's breath in the movements, and then there's a period of time that you're doing these movements, and it's all very scientific and working on a cellular level. It changes your cells and your mind and your aura, which is our energy field around us that's actually been measured, and there's many devices that have won, people have won the Nobel Peace Prizes for these devices, and it's absolutely been measured, this energy field around us. So it's really changing and strengthening and raising the vibration of our cells, of our energy. But these Kriyas, there's really thousands of them, and they work on different things. So from Kriyas that work with certain organs of your body, strengthen the liver, strengthen the lungs, things like that, to certain things, emotional things, like if you want more self-worth or if you want prosperity, whatever it is, there's really energy work that we can do through these Kriyas to move through blocks that are preventing you from experiencing health in certain areas of your life, blocking you from experiencing certain emotions. Mm-hmm. So there's literally anything, hundreds and thousands of these Kriyas. And that's really cool because it's really, all of the Kriyas and all of the meditations are aptogenic. So it's like whatever you need. But specifically with the energy work that each Kriya and meditation are doing, you can focus in on certain areas and certain things that you want to work with. And so then after the Kriya, there's always a meditation, and it's the same thing, like I said, as the Kriyas. And there's a lot of breath work. Some meditations have movement. They're all very, very, very different, but very beautiful and potent. Some are more physical, some are less physical. It just all depends on which one you're doing. And then after the meditation in a typical class, you would do a relaxation, a shavasana, and then you end with the long time sun. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter who you're practicing with, you always end with the long time sun mantra, which is just a really high vibrational blessing. And, the mantras are really woven into the practice, and the mantras are sacred high vibrational sounds that we can listen to outside of the practice that really elevate our vibration and help us to tap into different vibrations and different frequencies of energy. So obviously there's so much in a class. It works on so much. It's such a complete, whole practice that really works on the whole person and the whole body and energy field, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm, it does. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. So, Britt and I could talk about this for hours. And there's so much that goes into it. And so we actually created a program called Intro to Kundalini because so many people in our community were asking for this information. And so it is on our website, and we created it a little while ago. But it has so much information in it, and it has a full Kundalini class too.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this episode this week, we're actually going to be offering a really cool offer. Mm-hmm. So if you are not in 528 Academy, and if you sign up for the year in 528 Academy, we are going to give away the Intro to Kundalini collection. It's 6 videos. It's a full Kundalini class. It's a really, really cool way to dive into Kundalini yoga. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be giving that away with anybody who purchases the full year of the 528 Academy. And we actually don't know how long we're going to be offering that for, but probably like a couple of weeks. And it's March. This is going to be airing March 19th, mm-hmm. this episode. Yeah. But if you miss this offer, you can always get Intro to Kundalini, mm-hmm. The Intro to Kundalini collection. You can always buy it. And you can always hop in the 528 Academy with us.
Exactly.
So we love talking about this. And that's why we have the Intro to Kundalini collection, because literally
we could go on for hours, and we do.
Yes.
So let's get into some lobby talk.
You guys aren't sick of hearing us talk, are you?
I hope not, because we have some things to talk about. So we've been having a lot of expanding kind of happening in our lives. And, last week we actually went to an event with Jordan and Shaman Durek, and had a really, really awesome it was a shamanic experience. And I actually went deeper than I've ever been, than I've ever really gone with breathwork specifically. And the stuff that Shaman Durek was telling us to do to command the energy through our bodies and shock our bodies at 100, 200, 300, feel the energy. I actually went the deepest again, I'd ever gone with this particular kind of work. And I kind of let it happen. And I had seriously a spirit leave me.
Yeah.
It was weird. It it came up through my heart chakra. Actually, it was in my solar plexus, came up through my heart chakra. And when we were shocking our body around 900 volts, in our minds, I felt it come up to my eyeballs, and my eyes were they were burning. And I just wanted it, and I knew it was leaving my body, and I sent it to the light, and I was like, appreciate the time we had together, but I don't need you anymore, and please go to the light. And it left me, and it was crazy. And then I was still kind of whoa.
And then you told Shaman Durek, and he saw the spirit leave you too.
Yeah. And Jordan said that she was watching two people through the whole thing. And she's like, you are one of them because something was happening to you. I was like, I know. And I was aware of what was happening. But I did feel a little hypnotized. He told everyone to get up on their feet, and I've never gotten up faster. I was like, what is going on?
Wait, what do you think the spirit was again?
I don't know. I definitely felt like it had been with me for a long time. It didn't, feel great. It felt like it just wasn't aligned with me. And it felt like it enjoyed to kind of cause mischief behavior in me. And it felt very controlling. It just had been in there for a while, kind of lowering me down. And I mean, I don't know if everyone has spirits that live inside of them, but there's stuff that gets attached to me specifically. Well, I'm not manifesting any more of that.
It's just energy. And, when we raise our vibration and when we do this work, things are not aligned. Sometimes physical people, sometimes energies, that some people call spirits. Maybe you think of it in a different way, but it's just really energies that are attracted to us with the different vibrations that we're residing on and vibrating with. So yeah, it's cool to see things leave our lives, new things come in our lives. And when you do shamanic work, it does bring out spirits. And if you're aware of this stuff, then if something's not aligned with you, it makes sense that it would be called out to be released and leave.
And I mean, it wasn't a negative thing at all. It was actually really cool. And so it's not, I feel like this can kind of scare people, but it really isn't.
No.
It's just an energy that I just wasn't aligned.
Yeah.
So it was have to go now. But I got it out with my breath and the commanding of just releasing anything that he was commanding us to release, stuff that was toxic, all the toxic breath, any sort of toxic thoughts, anything that just wasn't, aligning, and no more playing small. There's a lot that went on. I felt so grateful for that experience. So yeah, that was kind of my woo experience for the week.
And Shaman Durek's going to be on our podcast next week. And we are so excited for you guys to listen to everything he says. But yeah, he's so aligned with us and our work. And the breath work is, as you all know, such a big part of our lives, such a big part of what we teach with Kundalini Yoga. And it is beautiful to have experiences like this with healers and shamans. And, Shaman Durek is the real deal. He is so aligned and authentic and connected and just pure and neutral and powerful. So we love him so much.
We do.
And of course, we love Jordan so much. She's, such a beautiful friend of ours, and we love doing yoga with her. And for me, during that experience, I actually felt and saw a past life. So Shaman Durek was in the room singing, and in that moment, I saw myself playing a big drum. And I first saw grass, and then I saw trees, and there was dirt, and there was a huge circle of people, and I was drumming and he was singing, and it felt like this band that we were in, which I don't know if they would call it a band because it was definitely like indigenous, like tribal culture. So whatever.
And where was it? You said it was in the Amazon, right?
So I told Shaman Derek about it, and he was like searching. He basically like says he's like searching through files, but what he's doing is he's like energetically like scanning information, and he can find it energetically from past lives about people. So he was basically like scanning, and he said like, yes, that is correct. And he said it was in the Amazon.
Yeah. And Britt was like, oh my God, it was the Amazon.
That's what I thought.
Because you hadn't told him, and you were like, oh yeah, it definitely was the Amazon. And yeah, Britt, you were like, I knew the song he was singing.
Yeah,
I somehow knew it.
It was a remembrance of it.
You're like, I love that song.
But I had never heard of it in this lifetime. So
it was pretty wild. But yeah, we like, Jordan took us through a beautiful flow. And then at the very end, Shaman Derek kind of came in and whoa.
Yeah.
It was like a whoa.
We're going to do an event with Shaman Derek and more events with Jordan. Justin came with us. He had a really cool experience. He just felt a lot of amazing energy. He didn't have anything like tangible, but that's the thing. Like we always say, everybody has different experiences for what they need in the moment. And a lot of times this stuff is just raising the vibration of our energy, planting seeds, placing things in our aura, elevating our vibration, releasing things we no longer need, bringing us to a place where we can attract more of the high vibrations of love and joy and freedom. And so, doing a daily practice is so key to be open to then, having these other experiences periodically when we attract them or when they're available.
Yeah. It was really rad, honestly.
So that's our lobby talk. We love it. We just actually interviewed Mukande from Live Spring Water, which we're totally into. We're so excited.
I feel so elevated from that conversation.
Right?
Yes.
And then we have Tamara coming on the podcast soon, who has like changed our lives, and especially for mamas out there, but really for everybody, really about relationships and conscious communication. And she is just a goddess.
Yes. It's like it's all parenting, but also, for moms and dads, but also just relationships. Like it's just kind of a different way of looking at communication, just in general, and how we communicate with each other and how we create relationships that are really based out of respect and emotionally based. So it's a really, really fascinating one. I am fascinated with her.
And then should we just continue with the lineup to get them really excited? Because we're so excited, you guys.
There's so many good people coming up.
Like we, by the way, love you guys so much for listening to this podcast.
Yes.
And the response, we love it when you guys tag us on Instagram, when you share in our private Facebook group. If you guys are not a member, it's the Elevate the Globe Spiritual Warriors. It's our private Facebook group. When you guys share things that you've learned from the episodes, your aha moments, things that you're implementing, ways that it's helping change your life, we are obsessed. We're obsessed. It's been like, this is so fun. We had no idea how fun this was going to be.
Yes. And we love sharing it with the rest of the community. So it's like, tag us away on Instagram. We like to put these things on our stories and, share with everyone. So it's really cool. And, this week we're having a challenge.
Yes.
All of our community is doing a challenge together. There's so many people in it. So,
oh my God.
If you aren't in the challenge, go ahead and go check it out. It's not too late. The challenge, it launches on Monday. So if you're listening to when this podcast is released, it is Monday, March 19th, and it starts today. But if you're listening throughout the week and you're not in the challenge, go ahead and pop in, because you can go view all the replays. So, and do the challenges and get in on it too. So if you go to elevatetheglobe.com/raise your vibration, you can sign up there and you'll start getting all the emails and access to the challenge.
Yay!
And it's so fun because we're all raising the vibration of our energy together. Even people that have gone through our previous challenges are doing it again, because it's always kind of nice to have a reset and to do this. There's like thousands of people doing this.
Oh my God, I know.
It's like really cool to have such a big group coming together and like doing classes and breath work and meditating all together. It makes a massive impact on the globe. And that's what we're here to do, right?
Yes.
And if you're listening to the podcast, that's what your soul is being called to do as well. So, you know, maybe if you don't realize it or not, like you're part of this too. So we're so happy that you're here, you're listening, and you're joining us in elevating the vibration of this planet.
Yes.
Love you.
So let's just finish up the lineup and then we'll sign off. So we have next week, Shaman Durek.
Yes.
The week after that, Tamara Iglesias. Yes. Related to
Enrique Iglesias.
But we don't talk about that. Then the week after that is Valeria from
Water Through Skin.
Sustainable Eco Travel Fashion. She is the goddess of sustainability and earth-friendly beauty. We just can't even stand it. And so that's our lineup coming up here. And then so many more.
And then Mukunde.
Yes.
Oh my God. And his name is a spiritual name. In Kundalini Yoga, it was given to him. And we love it. It's like Govinde, Mukunde, Udade. You know, there's a whole mantra.
And that's
we're actually doing it this month in 528 Academy. It's part of the meditation of the month.
For courage, prosperity, and overcoming obstacles. It is so powerful.
It's legit. And it's grounding.
Too legit to quit.
Woo! All right. We love you guys so much. And may the pure light within you guide your way on. Sat Nam. Have a good week. Join us in the challenge.
Go do some breath of fire.
Woo!